family. How are you today? So look, today's question is, what have you learned during this pandemic? We've got 4 weeks before 2020 is over. It's a wrap. It's done. It's finished. 4 weeks. So how has this pandemic treated you? It's been tough on all of us. There's not a single soul in this world who hasn't been touched in some way about this or through this pandemic. There's not been a family that has not been affected or touched in some way. We've either lost somebody directly or indirectly, or we've been walking with people who are struggling. I mean, it's not been for the faint of heart, and yet here we are. So I want to know, what have you learned about yourself? I'm hoping that you have learned how to be more resilient. In fact, I know you've learned how to be more resilient, because we all have learned that. Who would think, who would have thought that for almost 9 months that we would be locked down in our homes and not be able to move freely around the world like we've been used to not be able to dine out or to hug our friends or to travel like we want to. Who would have thought that in March that we would be at this point? And yet we've made it. We're still making it one day at a time. I hope you've learned. You are more resilient. You are braver than you thought. Your family is tighter than you thought. I promise you, without this pandemic, you would not have spent the time with your family that you have. You would not have drawn close to them and experienced the intimacy that you have with your family were it not for this pandemic. And so I hope that all of us can appreciate what it's taken away, but also what we've gained from it. I mean, one thing that I've learned for sure is that all of the things that I've thought were important have not mattered at all. You know, we work for a paycheck. We work in our jobs to make a difference. We have families that we love and we support. We buy things that supposedly make us happy. What we've discovered during this pandemic is that the stuff has not mattered. We've had closets full of clothes, cars to drive, places to go, and it hasn't mattered because we've had no place to go, nowhere to drive except, you know, the running joke is the post office, the drugstore, the grocery store. Where else could we go? And yet we've made it. We've pressed our way. And I hope that we have not allowed ourselves to get in such a state where we have not appreciated the brilliance that we have. And so I just challenge you to look for what you've learned during these 9 months. Write it down, because I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to post every week for the rest of the year. And in fact, I've decided this morning that I want to bless those of you who are watching me now in some way. I can't do it for every individual, but if you have bought my handbook, I want you to take a picture of yourself with it and send it to me. Inclusionist7@gmail.com. It's on this video someplace in case you forget it. Send it to me, and on December 31st, I am going to put all of the names in a hat, and I'm going to draw a name out and bless you in some way. I'm not sure what that looks like right now, but it'll be something, because I just want to commend you for thinking enough about yourself to try something new, something different, a little handbook with questions. But you loved yourself enough to say, hey, let me give this a shot. And I hope you're asking yourself the questions in it, as I have, as I do every day. It's just a tool. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it's to make you think about how brilliant you are and what your place is in the world, and how the world needs to learn from you. So do that for me. I will post again next week. Every week, I'm going to ask you, what have you learned? I will propose the situation and see if you learned from that. Bless you. I hope you have a great week. Just think about how brilliant you are. And I will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.